course was really good and the instructor was helpful in making the concepts clear.
All the basics were covered in detail, starting from statistics and the basic tests, p-values and over hypothesis testing. Even the basics were covered in depth. And building on this, we went into using R step-by-step from the data types and simple functions to building complex models based on like random forest and all.
This certification course will give me an edge to being shortlisted in some of the good analytic firms.
And I particularly like the way the course was taken, especially taking all the doubts, no matter how minute they were, into consideration. And I like the fact that the instructor never moved on until all were on the same page and everyone's doubts were cleared. So yeah, course was very helpful for me, and I would recommend this course for everyone like me.
And he also brought in industry knowledge and enabled us to understand its actual applications.
I strongly recommend this course to the students and professionals who want to improve their skills, the analytical skills for applications and businesses.
So this has been a wonderful experience. We got to know about our language, and since we already knew about the marketing concepts, it was really easy for us to apply all these things in real life too.
This course was a very comprehensive course covering all the basics and also certain advanced tools.
This course was very helpful for me, particularly because I come from a background where I've never done coding before.
So it has been a wonderful course. Last 4 days we spent here learning various analytics tool and the algorithm that are being used.
So I recommend all my friends to join this course.
I'm sure that this will definitely help us in our internships as well when we'll have to do predictive analysis and modeling on a large scale. So definitely I would recommend this course to my friends as well.
So this marketing analytics workshop is going to help me in my starting career.
We will be able to perform in our placements better and use all these tools for marketing analysis.
We do strongly recommend this course to other people.
I do recommend that you take it.
What is analytics? It is concerned with turning raw data into insights for making better decisions. Analytics is a field which combines data, information technology, statistical analysis, quantitative methods, and computer-based models into one. Analytics is the discovery, interpretation, and communication of meaningful patterns in a data. We generally use two terms that are analysis and analytics. What is the difference between the two? Analysis looks backward over time, providing marketers with a historical view of what has happened. And analytics, it looks forward to build models for the future and predict the result. So analysis help us in providing with historical data so that we know what happened with the organization, and analytics help us to modify that data acquired from analysis and make models over that data and predict the future results. What is the need for analytics? So analytics helps in getting past data and making out meaningful insights from the data. So it helps in cost reduction, better marketing and product analysis, organizational analytics, and better and fast decision making. So, for example, when we talk about better marketing or better sales plan, let us take an example. When we have past data for our sales and revenue, factors that were covered for achieving the sales or revenue, we can study it and predict future sales and revenue based on the models built on the data collected from our past sales and revenue. Similarly, if I take example for organizational analytics, so organization it is a group of different departments, functional departments. So what we can do is we can keep a harmony between all and get a analytics with each of the department. So if I take HR, like human resource. So analyzing human resource department, it involves analyzing data of employees, their attendance and leaves, productivity hours, how enthusiastic they are based upon their feedback from the seniors, making it digitalized. So it all makes easy to analyze the performance of an employee. Similarly, if I take example of product analysis, so when a analysis is done over a product, whether it is existing or you want to launch a new product, so it is very helpful as it provides with better insights. How can we improve the existing product and where we can launch a new product and in which market we can do that. Business analytics. So business analytics refers to the skill or technologies, practices for continuous iterative exploration and investigation of past business performance to gain insights and drive business planning. So what does it mean? Business analytics is a word, is a term. It is a study that has been done many of the times today. So it refers to the skill, technology, or practice that is used to explore and investigate the past performance of a business and gain insights and drive business plans and get a better result for our future perspectives. The study of data through statistical and operations analysis, the formation of predictive models, application of optimization techniques, and communication of these results to customer, business partners, and executives. So the analysis helps our business partners and customers to get a result or a communication based upon our study and predictive models, like how our business is doing, how will our business do in future. Some of the domains where analytics is used are marketing analytics, pricing analytics, retail sales analytics, collection analytics, cyber analytics, financial service analytics. So you can see there is telecommunication, talent analytics. So each and every sector of our industry are using analytics for their betterment of business. Next is business analytics versus business intelligence. So both are very important topics. Business intelligence is the base for business analytics. It is a business intelligence helps to it is required to run the business, and business analytics, it is a statistical study to improve the business planning. So business intelligence, it is a process of collecting data from all the sources and preparing it for business analytics. And if we talk about business analytics, it analyzes of the answers provided by business intelligence. So when a business want or is planning to go for data driven decisions, that they want their future plans, business plans to be based on data driven approach, the first step for the company should be for business intelligence, which means the company should collect the data from the past data from all the sources, and the next step will be the business analytics, based on which we will get to know the analysis of that data collected from BI. And then business intelligence answers what happened, and business analytics makes answers why it happened and whether it will happen again or not. When we talk about business intelligence, the different sources from where the data can be collected are automated monitoring or reporting, and it includes alerting, dashboards, ad hoc queries. And when we see business analytics, it includes statistical and quantitative analysis, data mining, predictive modeling, and multivariate testing. So business intelligence, it talks about retrieving and discovering the organization's data to understand how business is functioning and make better informed business decisions. Wherein the business analytics, it involves use of statistical analysis and predictive modeling to improve business planning. These are the different tools that you can use for analytics, like R programming, then there is Excel, then Python, Tableau, SAS, RapidMiner. So these are different tools, or you can say programs, that can be used for analytics and building models for our prediction. Then there is levels of analytics. It is very important to understand levels of analytics, because It will help you to make your raw data into a insightful or a meaningful data. Let's start with our first step in levels. So there is information with you. With that information, the first analytics we do is descriptive analytics. So it gains insight from historical data with reporting, scorecards, clustering, etc. So it tells you what happened if I talk about the organization, what happened till now in the organization. So descriptive analytics involves what happened to a situation. Then there is diagnostic analytics. Diagnostic analytics says why did it happen. So in first step we know what happened. Now we are drilling down the cause, that why did it happen. For that we build models based upon the data set we are having and the type of model we are building to predict the cause of this diagnostic analysis. So modeling the behavior using regression, logistic classification or classification rule analysis. Then the next level is predictive analytics. So predictive analytics, so from this level, your information turns into a insightful information, because what we will do is we have already built a model. Now we are predicting. So it says what will happen. It involves what will happen data. It employs predictive modeling using statistical and machine learning techniques to forecast the results. Next is prescriptive analytics. So prescriptive analytics tells how can we make it happen. Now what we are doing is we are forecasting, or we are optimizing our information that we collected in our first stage. We had our old data, we build a model on it, then we predicted our future forecasted results. Now we are saying we are recommending some decisions that can be taken in order to continue and make that forecast happen. For that, we can use optimization and simulation techniques. So the 4 levels are descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, then predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. CRISP framework. So it tells you how to do analytics. So CRISP stands for cross industry process, and we use it for data mining. So it is a very important topic. CRISP DM stands for cross industry process for data mining. This methodology provides a structured approach to planning a data mining project. So whenever you are planning to go for a data mining project, you should understand and include these 6 steps in order to get a data mining project done. The first step is business understanding. So business understanding involves to check the background of the business, to know about the goals and what are the objectives of that business. Then data understanding means the historical data that you have collected. You should have all the data based, be it from the business itself or from the customer feedback. It should be we have collected the data from everywhere possible, from every source. Then data preparation. Data preparation means that you select a proper data that is needed for your analysis. You clean that data and make it insightful and a meaningful data to be for which a model will be built in the next stage, that is the modeling stage. You can see here in the graph, in the picture also, the 4th stage is modeling, wherein the data that we have prepared based upon the data and the future prediction, like what do we want to predict from that data, we will build a modeling technique for that. Once the modeling technique and all the parameters are set, assumptions are taken, it will be evaluated using prediction models. We will be predicting some of the data possible, and last stage, once the prediction and the model is approved from the management or the higher superior authorities of the company, it will be deployed or presented. So what does deployment and data presentation means? That there will be the simulation technique, or we will be applying that model in our business. Let's understand it better. So under business understanding, we determine business objectives, then assess situations. So what are assessing situations? Like inventories, if there is any requirements or constraints, then what are the risk and contingencies for the business, how are the costs, and what are the cost and benefits of the company, what are their data mining goals, and produce project plans. So in the first stage, after understanding the business objectives and situations, we talk about data mining goals, that why are we doing this data mining project, and producing a plan, initial assessment tools and techniques. Then there is data understanding. To understand the data, first we need to collect the initial data. We can collect it through reports, from scorecards, and from any of the feedbacks that we collected. So there are different reports that can be created. Then there is described data, that is data description report, then data exploration report, then data quality report, then data preparation, data sets, and data set description. So we select the data, uh, which means what data do we need, or what data we need to exclude from our the data that we are building for our modeling. Then that data should be clean. The clean data means there should be no null values, or it should be in proper format for our analysis. Then generated records construct data. So there are many, there can be many of the attributes to our data. So all the attributes and data variables should be clearly mentioned. Then as we discussed that there are multiple departments, there can be multiple projects happening. So all the data need to be merged into one, and should be in proper format at the end before building a model, which is the next step. So for that, as we should select a modeling technique which is appropriate for our data set and our prediction to our data mining project. It should be appropriate for that. Then generate test design. So what we do is, first we build a data, and from that we also build a test design, whether our model is predicting correct or not, predicting correct values or not. Then build model, that is parameter setting models and model description. So once the model is created or selected, the technique is selected, the model is built based upon certain parameters which should be properly mentioned in a report. Then assess model, which means the model will be assessed and reviewed at the last stage of modeling, so that it can be evaluated for in the further, which is evaluation. Here the assessment of data mining results with respect to business success criteria. Once the assessment is done, it will be approved and reviewed through whole of the process, whether any of the point was missed or not, if everything is covered. The last stage is deployment stage, wherein the deployment plan is created. Once the deployment plan is set up, the model will be rolled out, and there should be a proper monitoring and maintenance of the plan. Once the plan is deployed, the final stage is to produce final report and review report, so that we know that whole process is done nicely, like it is done in correct way, and we have achieved our result that we needed. Introduction to R. What is R? R is the primary statistical programming language for performing modeling, graphical tasks. It is used for a variety of tasks that involves complex data sets. A freely available language and environment for statistical computing and graphics, which provides a variety of statistical and graphical techniques such as linear and nonlinear modeling, statistical tests, time series analysis, classification and clustering, etc. So why should we learn R? R is open source language. That means it is easily available programming language. It is a comprehensive statistical platform. It helps in visualizing any large and complex data sets. It provides interactive data analytics. It can easily be integrated into other programming languages, and it can run on any platform such as Windows, Mac, or Linux operating systems. Few domains using R for analysis are finance. So in finance, R is used to make models for downside risk measurements, adjust risk performance, and utilize visualization like candlestick charts, density plots, drawdown plots, etc. In banking system, it is used by the industry for credit risk modeling and analysis and other forms of risk analytics. Then it is used in healthcare also. It is useful to perform pre-clinical trials and analyzing the drug safety data. In social media, it is used for social media analytics for segmenting potential customers and targeting them for selling your product. Then in e-commerce, it helps in analyzing cross-selling products to the customers of the company. There are many other domains also that uses R in today's time for analysis. Some of them I have explained here. Next is why should R be used? So in today's time, R is very important as an analytical tool. R has the overall qualities for a business, the best mix of desirable attributes, including high data science for business capabilities, low cost. It is low cost and open source, which is a very essential quality of R. It is growing very fast and a massive ecosystem for powerful R libraries. Being open source, any you can add your own library to the programming languages. Data R is data science for non-computer scientists. So data tools have two options. You can either use R or you can use Python in the data science. Most people interested in learning data science for business are generally not computer scientists. Most activities involved in business and finance involves communication. So let's talk about Python and R. How are they different? So in Python, Python includes solid libraries for math, statistics, and machine learning. It is best-in-class tools for pure machine learning and deep learning. So it is well suited for computer scientists and software engineers. Wherein the R, if we talk about R, it is an open source libraries for statistics, machine learning, and data science. The depth of topics, specific packages, and its communications infrastructure. It is best-in-class tool for visualization, reporting, and interactivity. It is well suited for scientists, engineers, and business professionals. There is a con to Python that it lacks much of the infrastructure for subjects like econometrics and communication tools such as reported, which can be easily be done in R. Then what all we need for R? The first thing we need is the R and the R Studio. So R is a programming language for statistical computing and graphics. So we will be installing R. Then we will be installing R Studio, which is an integrated development environment for R. So they both are open source and are easily available for Linux, for Windows, and Mac operating system. They are available in R is available in 32 and 64 bit, and once you install both of the systems, that is R and R Studio, so you should run it as a administrator. Before installing R Studio, one should install R. So let's start with installing R first. And the link to download R is www.r-project.org. So this is the site where you can get all the data about R from about the R, why we should use R, introduction to R. You have logos here, all the contributors in the R. You can get the information about them. What's new here? If you are if you came across any bug in the R application, you can always report it here. So there are different tabs here which you can get help from in any of the way for R. There are manuals, documentations, all the libraries that we will be using in R are available on this website. Then it is the CRAN. So CRAN, it is the Comprehensive R Archive Network. So it is a network of all the web servers around the world that stores identical and up-to-date versions of codes and documentations of R. So you have a link to all the, once you have clicked here on CRAN, like here, so we will be routed to a mirror, CRAN mirrors. So these are the servers, these are the links for the servers that are nearest to the location mentioned above. So whichever location you are in, you can download the R from that link. We will be using this link. Once you are selecting one of these links, you will be directed to this window wherein you can see there is 3 types of option. So download R for Linux, download R for Mac operating system, or for Windows. Here we need it for R. The current version, that the latest version of R that is released on 24th April 2020 is R 4.0.0. Once you will click here, download for R for Windows, you can see there is an option here, a link here which says install R for the first time. Let's click here and you can see the download is available here. Just click on it and it will be downloaded in your location wherever you want to download it. Because I am already I have already installed R, I am not doing it right now. You can just download it and run as administrator so that it allows you to get all the links available with that. So next is installation of RStudio. So RStudio, as I told you, it is the IDE for the R. So it is a kind of GUI, graphic interface, which is very easy to use. It helps to use. It helps us in using R codes easily. To install R, to install RStudio, the link is it is rstudio.com. So this is the site where you can get RStudio from. Just go to products and we need RStudio IDE for R. So there are 2 versions of RStudio, either for desktop or as a server. So here we are installing it as a desktop for our desktop. So we will be selecting desktop. If you want it for the organization where multiple people can use one user ID, for that you can use it as a server. Let's click on desktop. So you can see it is giving you the overview of both the types. So I have selected the desktop as a version. So there are 2 types of versions of desktop. So it is open source edition and RStudio Desktop Pro. So the Pro one is the license agreement, for which you will have to pay $995 per year. And if you select open source, it is free of cost. There is no pricing. Then if you are selecting as a server version, so there is again open source, you can use it for free. Then there is a paid version for the Pro version. It is starting at $4,975 per 5 named user per year. So let's go to download RStudio Desktop, which is open source one. Now you can see again, it shows me different types of plans. I want free one, that is open source license. Just click on, if you go down here, you can see there are links for different operating systems. If you are using Mac operating system, the link to download RStudio is next to it. If you are using Windows 7, 8, 10, then it is this link. Similarly for Ubuntu, Fedora, and OpenSUSE. So you have all the links available to download RStudio for different operating systems. I'm using it for Windows, and 1.2.5042, you can see it is the latest version of RStudio. It requires at least R version of 3.0.1. So we have already downloaded our R. If you just click on it, so it is again downloading it. So I have already downloaded it. I am not installing it again. If once installed, run it as administrator, as you must have done it for R. Once you will install R, there will be two icons available to you for R created on the desktop and confirming the installation of R. Let's talk about RStudio now, how to use it. RStudio is an integrated development environment that allows you to interact with R more readily. RStudio is similar to standard R GUI, but it is considerably more user friendly. So this is how your RStudio will look like. But initially, when you open it, when you will open RStudio, it comprises of three windows. So first window is the console window. Next will be the environment and history window, and last will be the file, plot, package, and help window. To open the fourth window, it will be the source or the script window. So let's go to R and let's see. So here you can see this is the first window we were talking about. It is the console area. Then this part here is here it is the console area. It is the environment and history area, and this is the file, plot, and package area. So as you can see, my packages of my R version is a old version. I installed it earlier. I will have to update it. So if you want to update R Studio and R version, you will have to download it again, going to the same link that we used initially to download our R. Once you have installed it again, you will be seeing the new version name here. So let's get introduction of RStudio. First thing is, whenever you are starting a RStudio, you will need a project. So you should always create a folder for R, wherein your all the projects will be saved. Like I am using R code here. The project that I am using is R code. You can always create a new project. Then you can go to new directory and new project. So you will be mentioning a name here. So you can mention any name, like if you are starting your R, you can say R file. So just browse it where you want to save this subdirectory and create project, and you will be switched to that new project once you have created that. So you can see I have created a new project here with name R file, within which only one file is. It is the default file that will be saved to your folder of this project. Then this file area here, what does it show? It will show you all the files that will be included or created in your project. Then there is plot. Whenever you will be building a new plot, it will be showing up here. It will automatically open this window, or will automatically open this window whenever you were running that command to build a plot. Then the package, each and every package that you will be installing, it will be saved here in the libraries wherein your R is saved. You can install a package using this tab install. You can write a package name here, like if the package is this, you will get a list of package. You can write that name and just press install. If you want to update it, you can click update here. Your packages will be updated. Packrat, this option will help you to create a new package from your site to the CRAN. It should be up to the policies of CRAN in order to update a new package. Then there is help. So help provides you with any of the function, or if you want any information regarding a function or a package, you can always just question mark here and write any of the functions. Like if I want mean, to know what is mean, so you can see help is provided from R. That mean is the generic function for the arithmetic mean. So this is kind of help. It will provide you with the function that you can use in R. It will give you examples also, so that you can get a full knowledge about arithmetic mean in R. Then there is Viewer. Viewer, it is a web browser inside our studio. It is generally used for Java or HTML scripts. Then there is Environment. Environment here, it helps to environment. It is the area where the variable or whichever command you will be uh, telling in typing in your console or script area, it will be saved in environment. So it is for the current session you are doing, and history, it will save all the previous old commands that you have executed from console or the script area. It will save each and every command that you have mentioned. Then connections help you to it is used to connect R to other database servers like SQL Server or MS Access Server or Hadoop Server. You can connect the servers with RStudio here. Then there is console and there is a script. So how do we open this fourth window? You can either go to File and New File, R script. The keyboard shortcut is Control Shift N, or there is a button here. You can see that we need to add a new R script. So you can see a new window has been opened up here. So this is the script area and this is the console. You can either write your code in the console or in script. Once you are writing a code here, suppose I said save value 1 in X. So whenever you want to execute a command, just control and enter. The output will be shown on console. You can also write a command on console, then also it will be saved. How can you see these variables are saved? You can check environment here and you can see there are two variables that we just created, one from the script area and one from the console area. So this is environment, and history will show you all the commands in that session and from the previous session also. If you want to save this file, there is a save button here. It will save your current document, and if there are multiple files open, you can always use Control Alt S or press this button to save all the open documents. Then the other things that you should know about R Studio are in the code area. You can see there are shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts that you can use, like if you want to comment a line. So what is comment or uncomment a line? You can select Control Shift C to comment that line. Suppose you do not want to run this code, you have an error, or it is telling you about that line. Like suppose to comment that, you just put a hash sign before it, and you can write about it, like creating a variable. So it will not run this part. Or if like I comment this part, like I wanted C equal to 3. I do not want to execute this command. I can just comment it. It will not, R will not run this command. There will be, you can see in the environment, no C variable has been created wherein the 3 value is saved. So because we have commented it. So this is how there are different shortcuts you can always use in RStudio. View also tells us about different panes and different tabs that you can switch to using keyboard shortcuts. Then there is an option called panes here. So this is the first pane, second pane, third pane, and the fourth pane. If you want to change the layout of these pane, you can always use view here and go to panes, and there is an option show all panes. In this case, all the panes are visible. If you say console on left, so you can see our console area is on left. If you want your console to be in the parallel in the right side, just click it and you can see our console has been shifted to the right side. Then there is plots, sessions. Whenever if your R is not responding, if there is any error or your codes are not running properly, either you can restart R here. So restart will will not change your codes, or it will not close your files at that current session. It will just restart your R, but you will have to run your codes again. Or you can terminate our session, wherein your session will be terminated and you will have to start again. You can set your directory, like if there is any project, different project, you can go to that directory from here. And if you want a new session to be started all the way long, then you can click new session. Then there is tools. So now this is important thing that I am telling you. Here you can use install packages from here also. If there is any package update, you can check here. Then there is this global options. Just go to global options. Then there is general commands. These are the setups that you can do to your RStudio. Just go to code here, and you should always select soft wrap for your source files. What does this soft wrap do? If your code is lengthy, if it is very long code, if you have not tick marked it here, it will look messy. It will be not available in the whole area of this script area. But if you soft wrap your R files, what will happen is it will come to the next line automatically once it reaches the end of your pane. So it is helps you to make your outlook of R better. Then there is appearance. So you can always change the appearance of your R. Like I have selected Lucida console here. What you can choose different type of layout for your RStudio. Like if I use generally in today's time, people using black layouts, dark layouts, that I mean to say, because it is more soothing to your eyes. Like if you want a white background, you can use this kind of layouts wherein your background is of white. If I apply this, so you can see all of my layout has been changed to white. Let me select my previous one. So I'm not applying this layout. Let's change it. So, and then there is help. So help is also very essential to understand. So if you want any of the help regarding R, you can just click here. About RStudio, you can check here. If there is any update of R, you can just check. It will give you a window wherein you can see RStudio. This is now available. I am using a previous one. So just you can either do it right now or just say remind me later. Then there is cheat sheets. So cheat sheets are very important. There is option to browse cheat sheets also. It will take you to a URL where you can download each of the cheat sheet. Cheat sheets are having functions for that package that will help you to understand a whole of the package involved in that cheat sheet. So this is all about RStudio. We'll go ahead and write different codes and study different techniques involved in R. Importing and exporting data in R. There are a number of ways for importing the data into the R. Some of the formats we can use are through CSV file, through text file, through a web URL, a Excel sheet or a Google sheet. So let's start making data in R. First, we are using CSV file format. CSV stands for comma separated values, and it is used to store the data in a tabular form. The command that we use for CSV file is read.csv. Let's go to R. First, let's make a sheet in CSV format. I'm using Microsoft Excel for that. What we can do is we can create the data that I have created here. I have taken roll numbers, name, age, and gender. I have taken 10 roll numbers, 10 names, 10 age, their age, and their genders. So I am saving this data as a CSV format. So how can we save this? We can go to save as, and wherever you want to save the file, save as type should be CSV, that is comma delimited format, and you can save this file. The file should be there in the folder in which your codes are there, where you are saving your all the files. so that it can pick up your file easily. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a variable x. My function to read CSV file is read.csv. Within brackets, I am typing the name of the file, that is test.csv. You can check, I have a file name here named test.csv. I am taking header as false. What is header as false or true? It means whenever you are giving a value or a data to R, it will automatically convert it into tabular form. But if you are making header false, it means it will not take your headings as a heading value and it will be taken as a normal observation. You can see I have executed the command. Now let's check the value in this variable, that is x. So what it has done is it has taken roll number as a sequence of that vector. So it has created vector 1, vector 2, vector 3 and vector 4, and roll number is a part of that vector. It is not a heading because I have selected header as false. Similarly, we can do header equal to true. So what will be the change? Let me show you. I am executing this command, that is read.csv within brackets and inverted commas the file name, and header is true. So in this case, my headings will be shown as first labels and not as plain text. Let me print the values of j. So you can see now roll number, name, age and gender are my headings here and others are my observations. So it is very easy to import a CSV file into R. There is one more way you can import the data. The next way to import the file is URL file. So what we are doing is whenever we are getting a URL or a online web link, it should be in CSV format in order to import it into R, and the command for that is to read that file is read.table. It is the main function to read that URL, and it will convert, what will happen is it will convert your CSV format into a tabular format. So let's go to R and check the data. So what we are doing is there is a link I have here. It is the all the local radio stations and their details available publicly. It is in CSV format. Now what I am doing is I am saving this URL in a vector, in a variable ABC. So in ABC within inverted commas I am saving this file. Now I'll read it. How do I read that CSV file into R? I am making a variable radio is equal to read.table is my command. Within brackets, first thing that I am doing is ABC, that is this vector. I am giving this vector the file which I want to read. Next is header. It should be true so that all the headings are taken in their original form. Separator, all the files are in separator, all the columns and values are separated by commas, and string as factor is false. So what is string as factors? Strings as factors do not convert every or the categorical values into factors. That is a categorical format. It will keep all the vectors in their original data type. So I am going to run this command. I have saved it in ABC. Then there is radio variable. I have executed my command. Now what I am doing is I am viewing this radio variable. Now what happened is there is one more tab here with name radio. So what we have done is we have created this variable radio in order to view it in a Excel kind of format or rows and column format. The command is view with a capital V. There should be capital V, view within brackets name of the variable. What it will do is it will show you the data in the form of rows and columns. So you can see column 1 is of state, next is their URL of every radio station, name of the station, their town and so on. You can see it is a very big file. You can also, like I have in earlier case, I have read this file that was test.csv. You can see I have saved it in my files. You can check it here. I can click this here and view file. What it will do is I can see that as it is a CSV file, so it is separated by commas and it is not in the form of table, because in this we have given read.csv. But in this file, when we were doing when we are importing the data through URL, we have taken the function read.table, which what it is happening is my data is converted into tabular form. So it is very easy to import the data. Next is text file. So what is a text file? The extension always ends with txt, that is a simple format, and text file are the plain text that we can enter in any form, like it is in Word or any of the format. We can also create it through Excel files. Like I'll show you how can we save a Excel file to a text file. We can also create it in R also. And the function that we use in R is read.table, similar to the URL one. It will convert the data into tabular form. Let's go to R. First, let's go to Excel. I'll show you how to save the file as a text file. So I have created this file. It is the same file which I have saved as CSV. Now I am saving it as a text file. So what we can do is we can go to save as, and in save as type it should be a text MS-DOS. I am not taking it as Macintosh. I am taking it as MS-DOS here and saving the file. I have already saved it, so I am not repeating it again. You can see I have saved the file as test.txt. If I view this, so what happens is it is showing a plain text. There is tabs here. There are gap of tabs. It is tab separated file. How to read this file in a tabular form? So what you can do is the command similar to the first one. It is read.table. Within the brackets, it's test.txt. I'm running this command. I'm sorry, I have selected the wrong one. So what I am doing is I'm executing the command and printing the values. So now what happened when we are executing when we are reading a CSV file like earlier when we read here, if we do not take header as false here, what will happen is by default it is true. By default header is taken as true in read.csv format, but when we are doing read.table, it will take it as plain text and not as a heading. So for that, what we will have to do is we'll have to make header equal to true. We will have to give that command. As you can see, when it was not taken, there were 4 vectors created, and roll number, name, age were taken as an observation and not as headings. In next command, what I have done is I have given header equal to true. Now let's print the values. Now you can see each of the heading is correctly placed on their heading place and are not taken as observations. You can also import the data from this pane where we have environment. And what is environment actually? Environment helps you to check all the variables that you have created. It will be saved in that environment. So what you can do is go to import dataset, and from text. So there are different types of ways you can import the data. One of them is text. So you can take a file, whichever is your text file. So you can just go and open it, and you can see what they have done is you are imputing this file and data frame will be created in this format. Okay, so I have already imported the file. I'm not doing it again. I'm just showing it to you. You can do string as factor as check marked, or you can remove it.